Hey y'all, we're in the kitchen with Sonia 305, and today we're going to be doing cornbread dressing. We're going to be making everything from scratch. So in my pot here I have my chicken gizzards, my chicken livers, all of the insides of the turkey, which was the neck, the liver, and the giblet, and we're going to bring those to a boil. I've already seasoned them with my garlic powder, my poultry seasoning. I've got different seasonings. You'll see them down in the description. But we're gonna go ahead and start with the cornbread. We're gonna bring those meats to a boil. But we have our eggs, 3 eggs. We have some grease in the white bowl there, our milk, everything for our cornbread. Here we're gonna do some cornmeal. Now this is cornmeal. We're gonna add that to our bowl, and we're gonna add our flour to the bowl. We wanna make sure that our meal ratio, make sure that the ratio for the meal is more than the flour. That gives it that nice cornbready taste once we get everything done. Okay, we're gonna just go ahead and get all of our ingredients in there, and mind you, nothing major is going in here, nothing exceptional, butter and all that stuff like that. We're just gonna add our milk and oil and our eggs to this right here. We're gonna go ahead and mix it up because this is just the cornbread. All of the good stuff, the seasoning and everything is gonna go, that's already in the meat. So in the broth that we're gonna use is gonna have all those exceptional seasonings in there. So we're just gonna mix everything up here. Just like, I don't know if you do like the box cornbread or what type of cornbread you do, but all of the measurements are gonna be down below. But we're gonna go ahead and just make this nice and smooth, not smooth, but we're gonna just add enough liquids to get a nice, just above pancake consistency. So here I'm adding a little bit more meal because again I want that nice mealy texture in the cornbread. So we're just mixing everything, making sure it's of the right consistency. I just added a little bit of water in that bowl that I was using. Added a little water there, and I think this is about right. Guys, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and give us the thumbs up. Now, we're gonna go ahead and, I'm just wiping the pan down, but we're gonna go ahead and grease the pan, which I'm just using some regular vegetable oil. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop a little bit in the bottom of a pan, very small amount, because I'm gonna take a napkin and just wipe the entire inside of the pan with that. And that's just for the bottom of the cornbread. I'm gonna show you guys when I'm done, because it's gonna be a pretty hard cornbread, but we'll see why in the end. Now I'm just adding a little flour here, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take it over the trash can, but I went ahead and just got that flour all over the pan, and I'm adding my cornbread mix to it, and I'm just gonna stick that in the oven, and I'm gonna let that go until it's nice and brown. It'll start like busting and parts of the cornbread right on the top. It's gonna start breaking apart. You'll know when it's done. I'm gonna let that get a taste overdone, but you will see why in the end. Okay, and for the meats, guys, the turkey wings that I used, they were the flats of the turkey wing. I didn't use the drumstick portion of the turkey wing. I used 4 of the flats. 4 of the flats. That's the neck. Now I'm just adding my giblets. I did cut off that little butt part of the turkey because we want as much grease in it as possible. That's where the flavor and all that stuff comes in. So now that these have been going on a high boil for about an hour and 10 minutes almost, I'm going ahead and I'm taking those out of the pot, and I'm gonna let them cool down, because what I'm gonna do is go ahead and just shred everything, dice it up, including my livers, my gizzards, my turkey, my onions, bell peppers. Everything is gonna be diced, and we're gonna keep that nice broth. If you guys can see how thick that broth is, that's where all the flavor is gonna come in this cornbread dressing. Okay, so I have my pan. I have everything already diced up, my onions, bell peppers. If you want to add celery, if you like that flavor of celery, go ahead and add that. But those were my meats there, my livers, my gizzards, and my turkey. And that's my broth there. So we're going to go ahead and take this cornbread, and we're just going to break it up. No particular way. I'm not trying to be neat with it, because I'm going to crumble this up into much of nothing when it's in the bowl. We're gonna take all of that stuff out, and I get all of hating to waste this stuff, so I get all of the little corners and everything. I put it in the bowl, and with some nice clean hands, you're gonna come back and you're just gonna crunch up, just make the cornbread finer than it is, and then we're gonna do the rest with the liquids. I'm just gonna add that liquid in slowly. Once I add my meats and everything to it, I'm gonna slowly add the liquid to it. And if you prefer, now I'm gonna blend this. If you prefer, if you got the strength and those good hands or whatever, you want to do it with a spoon, by all means do that. But we're gonna blend her up. Blend it up really, really well. And all of the seasonings is, I did it with a spoon, but like this old Facebook meme, I just go ahead and season until the ancestors tell me that's it, baby. Okay, so as you know, right here I'm just adding a little butter. That was a half a stick of butter that I added to that. I just melted it a little bit, but I added a half a stick of butter. And notice how I'm slowly just adding in the broth as I go, because what we want this nice and moist. When it's done, we want it nice and moist. And how I'm moving it to the side, if you notice around the edges of the pot, you can still see the cornbread there. So we're gonna make sure all of that is nice and wet. When I finish, everything will be nice and wet. But I'm getting all of those clumps out of there. And man, if you guys could have smelled my house this day, I had family in during the holidays, so I didn't get a chance to upload the video or anything like that. But and this is enough. This is gonna make a big pan, and if you notice, I didn't take all of the meat and onions out because I'm gonna do another small pan, but I didn't want to overwork my blender. So that is the rest of the juice. And notice when I was boiling, I just put a whole lot of water so that when I didn't even add any chicken broth, because I know that the fat from the turkey, those tips especially, is nothing but fat. So you're getting all the good out of that, so you don't even need chicken broth on it. But I put a little poultry seasoning there, a little garlic powder, and I'm gonna add some black pepper to it also. Mix it up real good. Now, once we get that baked in my big pan, I'm gonna bake it most of the way, because I'm gonna put this back in the oven in the morning before we go to where we're having our Thanksgiving. But I did get the small pan done also, and the top pan is the small pan. That's the color that I want it to look. But this is most of the way done, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe. I know my family did. Couldn't get any good pictures of it being dished out, but that's our cornbread dressing. Subscribe to my channel, guys. Thanks for watching.